This week was all about Afghanistan, as was the week before. It is the biggest story of our time. A terror group has taken over a country, one province after another. Afghanistan fell like a pack of cards. 20 long years of war, the world's richest, most advanced military, troops from 36 countries. They could not stop the Taliban from taking power in Afghanistan. Quick question, who really is the Taliban? The young men with guns and face covers we see on TV, or are they just a front? I will let you into a reporter's dilemma. Even after weeks of tracking the developments in Afghanistan, we do not have clear answers to some of the most basic questions. For example, who will be the leader of Afghanistan? Who will be the public face of the so-called Taliban Emirate? Will the terror group face any real opposition? These are some of the most basic questions, and normally we would have had answers to all of them, but Afghanistan, is peculiar. Too much is happening in the shadows here. So on this episode of Gravitas Plus, I will try to help you understand the Afghanistan story better, introduce you to the main characters, the key players in this horror show. We will introduce you to the 5 faces you need to watch out for in Afghanistan. Hello and welcome. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay, and this is the structure of the Taliban. Maulavi Hibatullah Akhundzada is the terror group's leader. Under him are 3 men, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, the political deputy, also the co-founder of the Taliban. Then there is Mullah Muhammad Yaqub. Deputy number 3 is Sirajuddin Haqqani, and this name may sound familiar to you. This man leads the infamous Haqqani network. Now, under these 3 men are various commissions. They look after the economy, military, intelligence, politics, and so on. These are the main bosses. The men you see on TV, packed in vehicles, are mere foot soldiers. Now that we have a fair idea of what the structure of the Taliban looks like, let's introduce you to our first face, the leader of the Taliban, Maulavi Hibatullah Akhundzada. They call him Amir al-Muminin, meaning the leader. Akhundzada became the Taliban's supreme commander in 2016. Before that, he headed the Sharia courts. This was in the 1990s. Akhundzada oversaw public executions and amputations. In the 1980s, he fought the Soviets. This man is from Kandahar. He belongs to the Nurzai tribe. It happens to be among Afghanistan's most influential tribes. Today, the buck stops with Akhundzada. He takes the final call on political, military, or religious matters. This man is believed to be in his 60s. He has not been seen in public for years. Some experts believe Akhundzada may be dead. Say he's alive. Will he then be the next leader of Afghanistan? Not clear. Taliban leadership, you see, like to remain elusive. In all probability, Akhundzada will remain in the shadows. He will leave the day-to-day running of the government to someone else. Perhaps this man, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, face number 2. He, along with 3 others, founded the Taliban in Afghanistan in 1994. Baradar is from the province of Uruzgan. He is a member of the Sadozai tribe. He fought the Soviets in the battlefield in 1979. He then went on to fight the US forces. It is believed that after the US invaded Afghanistan, it was Baradar who took charge of running the Taliban. He took refuge in Pakistan. He was arrested in Karachi in 2010. He remained in jail until 2018. The Trump government then asked Pakistan to release Baradar. They wanted him to lead the peace talks. Baradar led delegations to China, Russia, Iran, Turkey, and Doha. Here's a photo of him with former US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. This was taken in September 2020 at Doha. Will we see him in Kabul's presidential palace next? The chances are high. It may either be Baradar or this man, the one without a face, Muhammad Yaqub, the son of the one-eyed cleric who founded the Taliban, Mullah Muhammad Omar. Yaqub is his eldest son, and yes, there is nepotism in the Taliban too. Muhammad Yaqub is believed to be around 30 years old. He already heads the Taliban's military operation. He is believed to have studied in Islamic seminaries in Karachi. It is likely that Yaqub was trained in guerrilla warfare by Pakistan's terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed. Until 2015, Yaqub held no official position in the Taliban. He was virtually unknown. But after his father died, Yaqub was promoted. He was given a seat in the leadership council of the Taliban. Some say Yaqub even tried filling his father's position. He wanted to become the supreme leader. Many supported him, but most opposed. Yaqub was too young, they said, also inexperienced. Today, Yaqub is the Taliban's moderate leader. He supported the peace process, the end of the Afghan war. As the Taliban's military operational commander, Yaqub asked members of the terror group to not harm Afghan military forces and government officials. Clearly, not many followed his command. It is believed that Yaqub is not a popular figure. He is quote-unquote entitled, self-centered and unaware of the realities of Afghanistan. But what he has is the tag of being a moderate. As the Taliban tries to project itself as a reformed group, it may just leverage Yaqub's reputation. Our big face number 4 does not belong to the Taliban. He is the antithesis, the leader of the anti-Taliban force. Ahmad Massoud, the leader of the National Resistance Front, all of 32, the son of Ahmad Shah Massoud, an anti-Soviet leader. He went on to become one of the most prominent anti-Taliban faces. Ahmad Massoud's father was assassinated 2 days before 9/11. Ahmad was just 12 then. He went on to train at the British Military Academy, earned a master's in international politics from the City University of London. Ahmad is currently in his native Panjshir Valley. It is the only province to not have fallen to the Taliban. They've surrounded the valley. Inside, Ahmad Massoud has gathered guerrilla fighters from around Afghanistan. His force is training to fight the Taliban. They've asked Ahmad Massoud to surrender, but surrendering, he says, is not in his blood. Ahmad Massoud can be a game changer in Afghan politics. Standing beside Massoud in the Panjshir Valley is Amrullah Saleh, the fifth big face to watch out for. Amrullah Saleh is the former vice president of Afghanistan. While former President Ashraf Ghani fled, Saleh decided to stay back and fight the Taliban. He declared himself the caretaker president of Afghanistan. Saleh is 48 years old. Like Massoud, he too is a native of the Panjshir Valley. And Massoud's father is his hero. Amrullah Saleh was orphaned at a young age. It was also at a very young age that he joined the anti-Taliban Northern Alliance. In 1996, the Taliban tortured Saleh's sister to death. That incident, he says, changed his view of the terror group. Following the attacks of 9/11, Saleh became a key asset of the CIA. He led intelligence operations. He helped topple the Taliban regime. In 2004, he became the head of the National Security Directorate, the NDS. In 2014, he joined the Ashraf Ghani government as interior minister. Today, unlike Ghani, Saleh has vowed to fight for Afghanistan till his last breath. I spoke to Amrullah Saleh earlier this week. I asked him why he decided to stay back in Afghanistan when many countries had offered to fly him out, even in chartered flights. Saleh said, fleeing would have been a historic shame. You were also offered asylum by many countries and help, but you decided to stay in Afghanistan, and you were even reported as saying that you would much rather die in your country than leave. Is that correct? Why did you not leave if you had the option?
Well, I think for a person of my stature and history and likes of me who prefer to escape or go to exile, this would be disgrace. It will be a historic shame.
This is the man standing up to the Taliban after a superpower succumbed and fled in the dead of night. And with him are many Afghans. More power, we say, to Amrullah Saleh, Ahmad Massoud, and the people of Afghanistan. As Afghanistan heals itself from the Kabul attack and enters another rough week, let's keep the country in our prayers.
Gravitas Plus, co-presented by Skoda, made of smart imagination.